What's up, everybody? It's Kelsey, and today I want to explain to you guys one thing that I have been asked like a bunch, and it's why the Horde is so fucking popular compared to the Alliance. And some people will say that it's because of the lore, some people like the races, and I mean, individually you can say whatever you want, but to be honest, the real reason why it's so popular has nothing to do with any of that. It's just, in Classic, the passives were just busted. So like, number one, I'm gonna fucking, before I even back out and show you guys the racial passives, Warchief's Blessing is something that you can get on the Horde that you could not get on the Alliance, and the Alliance did not have a unique world buff like this. So it increases your hit points by 300, 15% haste to melee attacks, and 10% mana regen for every 5 seconds. That haste for like warriors was busted, and the Alliance literally didn't have this, to the point where if you look up Warchief's Blessing for Alliance, there's like a plethora of different guides and like dating back like a decade of explanations on how to get Warchief's Blessing on Alliance characters just from how good it is. And then other than that, I'm going to show you guys, I'm going to back out and show you guys in the character selection screen just how busted the classic racial passives are. All right, so we talked about Warchief's Blessing being one of the busted reasons why the Horde was so popular. Now we're going to go through the racial passives, and we're going to compare them tit for tat across each one. So with the Orc, they have Enrage. May Enrage, increasing damage by diminishing ability to be healed. Still damage increase. Resistant to stun effects, dope. Damage done by pets increased, fucking dope. That means it's why I'm a Warlock Orc. The Warlock and Hunter Orcs, busted. Skill with Axe is increased. Axe. So, great passives. Humans. Stealth detection increased. Does us no good for fucking raids or dungeoning. I mean, it's good for like PvP, but like, whatever. Increased spirit. Niche, only for certain classes, but also, you know, so is the damage done by pets. Bonus to reputation gains. That's also very nice, personally, but like, whatever. And then skill with swords and maces increased. And that's good. Like, that, both these guys have good passives. Dwarves may take stone form. Fucking fantastic for fucking tanking. Skill with guns increased. Only good for hunter class, so that means it literally doesn't help out the other four that they can have. Resistant to frost, that is nice. Treasure finding does nothing good for dungeons and raiding. Undead may become immune to fear, sleep, and charm. Fucking great. May consume corpses to regain health. Fucking great. You don't need to bring food. It doesn't do much for dungeons and raids, but it's good for like overland. Underwater breathing increased. Yeah, it's cool. It's fun. And resistant to shadow damage. Great. So, again, I think the undead wins on that. I think the orcs a little bit better than the human, but like, again, I just think that they're better overall. May fade into shadows. So in Classic, that isn't as good as it is in retail. In retail, you can literally use that in combat. In Classic, you can't. You have to just be standing still. So, Dodge chance increased. That is nice. Wisp form while dead. Absolutely useless for fucking 90% of the game. Resistant to nature damage. That is nice. But also, Torn has that as well. Herbalism skill increased. Again, not really going to help us in dungeons or raids. Max health increased. Will help us a lot. May Stomp, built-in fucking stun that works great. So, again, Torn, great. And then the Troll is absolutely busted. Berserk, increasing attack casting speed, crazy good. Regen increased, crazy good. Damage increased versus beasts, fucking great. Throwing and bow skill weapons increased. I mean, it's good, but like the gnome also has good stuff. Increased intelligence, resistant to arcane damage, engineering skill increased. Now, like, that makes him a good mage. But like, I'm gonna be honest with you, I still think the Troll's better. So like, their racial passives are just better across the board. And then on top of that, with Warchief's Blessing, it just made the Horde the obvious choice to use when you're raiding and doing dungeons. And let's not forget, Shaman have Bloodlust, which makes the whole team do more damage. And while humans had the Paladin's a fucking great grade A class for fucking Classic. But dude, the Shaman's ability to use Bloodlust for the team, on top of Warchief's Blessing, on top of having things like Enrage and Berserk and shit like that, it just made the damage possible from the Horde so much fucking better. That early on, the really sweaty, hardcore, like, we're gonna do world first stuff, started realizing that, like, the Horde could do it better. And you could do server first stuff or realm first stuff on Alliance. And in Classic, I felt like in Classic there was a lot more Alliance. Like in Vanilla when I was a kid, it felt like there was more Alliance than there was Horde. But like as the years went on, and as the Horde's passives continued to be fucking absolutely busted, and they didn't really balance it for the Alliance, all the big teams just mained on Horde, because you could do, even if you liked the Alliance better aesthetically and lore wise, the Horde just had better passives. So like over the years it just became Horde dominated for like the in-game stuff, and that's why to this day we have realms like Illidan and Area 52 and Mal'Ganis, just like absolutely huge population numbers comparable to Alliance. Now granted, those population numbers don't, like, they're not for sure, like, you can look up the numbers, they're all pretty well guarded, but like from what we can see, the Horde has more people. And from what I can personally experience, if I go on to Storm Rage, which is one of the biggest Alliance servers, and I queue up as a tank or a healer, I'll get a dungeon in like a minute or so. Peak times under a minute. If I go onto Area 52 on my death night and I queue up as a tank, I have a dungeon basically as soon as I click queue. So like Area 52 is still like the biggest realm there is, and it's Horde dominated by a large margin. And it's because of these old holdouts where like the game's been regulated now for retail, and like the balance, it's much more balanced, but like everyone, they just recently allowed us to like intermittently change things amongst your war party. So like when you had a main, you had a main for the last 20 years. So like everyone that was Horde is Horde, and there's gonna likely continue to be Horde. And that's just why the Horde has such a bigger population. And of course, you know, that's for the game as a whole. Right now, on Classic Hardcore Anniversary, it's just because the streamers are on Horde. But they all wanted to be on Horde because their mains are on Horde, because of all of this shit from all over the years. But that's why. So if you're ever wondering, like, oh, I want to play Alliance, but there's so many more people on Horde, that's it. It's not that the whole world just agrees with the Forsaken way more than the Dwarves. It's strictly just the fact that the passives for Orcs, Trolls, and them on top of Warchief and having Shamans is just completely busted comparably. But that's it. That's at least that's the way I understand it. But as always, guys, thanks for checking out the videos. Thanks for coming out. I'll see you guys next time. Love you so much.